And I also want to address that it took me some time to think about doing this video, because as a Black woman, it's just been really, really tough for us as Black women. And as someone who states that they advocate for the Black community, he, she, and they create programs for the Black community, is the founder of the largest mental health and education community for Black women in the country. I totally understand where we're at when I'm holding my programs and things of that nature. But I do want you to know that I always state that my Black love is also accountability. And being Black does not mean that when I'm dealing with other Black people, I'm pro-Blackness no matter what you do. That's just never going to be the case. So I don't want you to, I don't want to hear anything about like, oh, this is an attack on a Black woman. It's not solely, it was the aspect of supporting Black people was never about supporting just Black people no matter what they do. It's supporting Black people in love and also having accountability. And these messages are wrong, and they have been wrong, and they have consistently been wrong.
Man, I love that Black woman. I love a pro-Black, Black first woman, man. She had the heart to call Black people out and call this Black woman out, and not just defend her because she's a woman. She loves Black people enough to tell the truth. She loves Black women, Black men, Black children, right? Enough to be honest. We got so many people stuck in this gender crap that nobody, like, it's just so much self-hate where women just support women because she's just a woman. Men support men just because he's a man. Nobody cares about Black people and the damage it's causing in the Black community with this gender war. Well, today we're talking about Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, and she's been exposed and being called out because there's Black professional women that's tired of this foolishness, right? And the last straw was when she was on Joe Budden's podcast and talking about being a licensed doctor. And people was calling this stuff out.
Just to educate some folks a little bit, a license is really only needed so you can bill insurance. And let me go a step further. Majority of people who know that in order to bill insurance as a therapist or a physician or a psychologist, psychiatrist, you have to diagnose. Okay. Most people don't want to have a diagnosis on their record. So what do they rather do? Pay out of pocket. That's what I do. So when I realized that, I thought, well, okay, it may create a gap within our community, our Black community, who can't afford health care or afford mental health services. But it also is a way that, you know, as a therapist, two things: you can obviously make what you deserve, because therapy is real. We're giving everything we have in there, and we're unpacking shit, and we're helping you process through things. So it's not us sitting there, well, if you're an effective therapist, saying, tell me more. You should be unpacking, and you should be able to take somebody and drive with them to their goal and give them tools. So anyways, when I realized that, I thought, well, one, I mean, I'll just be out of pocket. Two, when I tell my clients the truth, is that in order to bill insurance, I have to diagnose you. And you only get about 6 weeks. In order for me to get 6 more weeks approval, guess what? I have to say that you are slightly improving, but really, not there. Come on now. So if anything happens in the court of law, if anything happens with employment, that is on your record forever.
So she's on Joe Budden. She's been on the Cam Newton show. She's been on the show with Paul Pierce, and she's been talking this stuff. And she's been getting a lot of backing of a lot of Black women. A lot of the Sisterhood has been behind her. But Tasha K has been one of her detractors. And Tasha K has been calling this out for some time now and blowing the whistle and saying, yo, something smells fishy around here, and I don't trust her. I don't trust her, right? So Tasha K was using her platform to really come after her and expose her.
Damn it, that's what narcissism is. You know that, right? That's what it is, okay? And that know how to say the right things, and they manipulate you to make you feel like something's wrong with you, but the entire time, something wrong with this. It's projection. I told y'all taking dating advice from the wrong people that ain't even been in a relationship longer than 3 days to tell you how a partner's at. They can only tell you about them. I told you, I said, listen, we've looked for the credentials. We can't find them. All of this stuff is public information. Public information. Now, she was on Joe Budden's show. She revealed this tidbit. I guess she's trying to get in front of it because maybe somebody got some information that was going to come out and blast all of this, because the grifting could only go on for so long. But go ahead, Doctor.
No longer practice under a license.
She said that she was unlicensed, untrained, unprofessional. Dr. Cheyenne Bryant said on Joe Budden's podcast, co-hosted, that she decided the only reason she needs to carry a license when she don't is to accept insurance. Other than that, she can practice without a license because it allows her to do a little bit more and she doesn't have to answer the boards and things like that. I was told personally there was no board because she never went to school that far.
Now, I'm so glad that this is happening because you have now professional black women. See, and what was happening last year, a lot of these professional black women saw this, but you ever notice whenever a certain black woman is about to call out the sisterhood, they always say, I know I'm gonna get flack for this. I know they're gonna come after me for this. Y'all ever notice that whenever you got righteous, good black women, strong women, women that stands on moral, women that stand on standards, right? Women that love the community, women that love their men, women that love their sisters. You ever notice when they want to hold other black women accountable, they always gotta start off with saying, I know I'm gonna get pushback from this. I know I'm gonna get some hate from this. They always have to put that disclaimer out for some reason. That right there is a problem. But this sister, she put that disclaimer out, but she also came with her credentials. And what happened was when she started to call out Dr. Bryant, so many other black professional women in this profession began to stand up and say, we agree. Because they was looking from the bushes waiting for somebody to say something, but they was too afraid to go against the sisterhood. But this sister came out and said this.
No longer practice under a license.
why
Right now I'm
would
in
we?
private practice, I'm saying. And
Yeah.
that's what people don't understand, right? So just to educate some folks a little bit,
Hello, my name is Dr. Raquel Martin. I'm a licensed clinical psychologist, professor of sciences, and podcast host who specializes in Black health and well-being. And I want to break down a clip from the Joe Budden podcast featuring someone who presents herself as Dr. Cheyenne Bryant. But before we dive in, I want to make something incredibly clear. Having a doctorate does not mean someone is a licensed mental health professional. You can have a doctorate in literature and be unlicensed, and you are still a doctor. You can have a doctorate in education and hold an LPC, being a licensed professional counselor, and you are a licensed mental health professional, and you are still a doctor, but your doctorate is not in psychology. When evaluating anyone's credentials, it's really critical to look at two things: what their doctorate is actually in, and whether they hold a relevant clinical license. In this case, the person you're about to hear from is unlicensed. I'm going to break down why that matters and why this particular message is harmful, especially to the Black community that she claims to be serving and that I actually serve.
a license is really only needed so you can bill insurance.
That is incredibly misleading. Yes, you do need a license to bill insurance, but that is not why licensure exists. Licensure protects you. It means I have completed specific education and supervised clinical hours, passed rigorous exams, and I'm accountable to a regulatory board. If I breach confidentiality, if I cross ethical boundaries or harm you, you have somewhere to file a complaint and be sure that I'm held accountable. A license is not paperwork just for billing. It's a consumer protection. When someone drops or loses or no longer has a license, they're not solely avoiding the insurance hassle. They're also removing your recourse if something goes terribly wrong.
Not binded by BBS, the Behavior Board Science Rules and Regulations and Ethics. And so it just opened up a whole nother, floor in industry for me.
And she's also saying this like it's a good thing. I want to state something really important. Ethics codes exist to protect you from exploitation and boundary violation and providers practicing outside of their competence. When someone celebrates being free from ethical oversight, I want you to think of that as a red flag, a flashing one. It's a warning sign because those rules exist because real harm happens when they're not in place. So celebrating that you don't have to be accountable to that should be concerning to you.
As a therapist, two things: you can obviously make what you deserve, because therapy is real. We're giving everything we have in there, and we're unpacking shit, and we're helping you process through things. So it's not us sitting there, well, if you're an effective therapist, saying, tell me more. You should be unpacking, and you should be able to take somebody and drive with them to their goal.
And here's another thing. She keeps calling herself a therapist, and in most states, that's actually illegal without a license. You cannot legally use the title therapist or provide psychotherapy without licensure. What she's describing now is coaching, and coaching and therapy are fundamentally different. Coaches help with goals and accountability. Therapists are trained to diagnose and treat mental health conditions, trauma and depression and suicidality and psychosis. If someone with untreated bipolar disorder or PTSD thinks they're getting therapy from a coach, they're going to be seriously harmed. These are actual conditions that go undiagnosed and untreated, especially within the Black community.
And see, I take this personal because I'm a person that, I've always stated I dealt with mental health issues in the past. I've suffered from PTSD, right? I have my issues. So you want to have a licensed therapist. You want to have somebody that speaks to a board. You want to have somebody that has to have accountability in case something go wrong. You're sitting there and you're telling these people all of your business and they don't have no provisions to hold them accountable. That's the problem. But see, people are not educated. And I was calling this stuff out some time ago, and I had people in there hating, but they don't understand undiagnosed trauma. They don't understand mental health issues. They don't understand therapy in the Black community. And this Black woman is calling this out because she's saying, yo, this is dangerous. Like, you can't be on here calling yourself a therapist, right? You're doing coaching, but you're calling yourself a therapist, and you have people coming to you with these issues, and you're saying, no, you're out of line. You're out of pocket, right? I'm glad that this woman is calling this stuff out, man. And like she said, you don't have the certifications to be making the claims that you've made, right? And then maybe somebody like me that suffered from PTSD, from issues of my past, or maybe violence and things that I've saw. And then here I come to talk to you. No, you ain't the person to talk to, right? But the sister wasn't done.
My clients, the truth is that in order to bill insurance, I have to diagnose you. And you only get about 6 weeks. Mm-hmm. In order for me to get 6 more weeks approval, guess what?
This frames diagnosis as something imposed on you solely for insurance purposes, and that's backwards. A diagnosis isn't a billing trick. It's clinically meaningful information that guides treatment. And the 6 weeks claim is also not accurate across the board. Now, I'm not saying that we should not be addressing insurance, because we need to rise up when it comes to insurance authorizations. Like, we very much do. That is a different video. But insurance authorizations vary widely by plan, diagnosis, and medical necessity. Many people receive months of years of covered therapy. And she's also making it sound like licensure forces short-term diagnosis-driven care. And that's just simply not how it works, as someone who is actually a licensed mental health professional.
Majority of people who know that in order to bill insurance as a therapist or a physician or a psychologist, psychiatrist, you have to diagnose. So what do they rather do? Pay out of pocket.
That's what I do.
And so when I realized that, I thought, well, okay, it may create a gap within our community, our Black community, who can't afford health care or afford mental health services.
I hear the concern, and the access problem is real. Her solution, unregulated, unlicensed coaching, isn't the answer. And there are a wealth of licensed Black therapists, he, she, and they, Black-owned practices, sliding scale clinics, community mental health centers doing this work with their licensure intact, keeping their credentials because their clients deserve protection. The solution to healthcare access gaps isn't removing safeguards. It's expanding access to regulated care. It's providing more scholarships for people like us to get the training necessary. It's more support group. It's actually mutual aid, but it's not what she is stating.
I'm in private practice. I make much more money. It allows me to have more leverage and really be hands-on with my clients. I'm not binded by BBS, the Behavior Board Science rules and regulations and ethics.
And I want to be honest about what's really happening here, because the messaging is awful to me. The pitch to potential clients is, I can give you more personalized care. The pitch to herself is, I make significantly more money and I'm not bound by any kind of oversight. And those are two entirely different things. And when your financial incentive is disconnected from professional accountability, that is a conflict of interest. However, she is not bound by anything when it comes to conflicts of interest, because the only thing that she is bound by is the limits of her own ethics and morality. Look, coaching has real value, and y'all know I hold real coaches down. If you want goal accountability, a coach can help, but coaching is not therapy, and no coach worth their salt will say anything other. If you're dealing with mental health, like anxiety and depression and trauma and these other things, you deserve a licensed mental health professional whose conduct is subject to oversight. And I know it sounds like gatekeeping, but it's truly basic safety. And it's important in communities where access has been denied historically. The answer has never been fewer protections for us as Black people.
She's stuttering and she can't even get the organization's names right? And she's saying that she's not bounded by nothing. She only cares about the money that she can put in her pocket. She knows that our community suffers from undiagnosed traumas and so many undiagnosed things. You got molestation of young girls, right? And boys. Y'all know I did that molestation of Black boys, a silent crowd, a dark room, right? You got black people that you got young black children whose siblings may have been unalived, or women that's been things that's essayed, and men that's had friends be unalived and did long prison stint. Well, we got a whole bunch of issues, undiagnosed trauma within our communities, man. And you got this woman here that said that she doesn't want to be bounded by no ethical board or bounded by anything. She just want to be able to treat you, and whatever happened just happened. No, because she don't want to deal with insurance, right? And so the sister just eloquently broke that down. We not having that. Shout out to this sister for not standing with that sisterhood bull crap and loving black women and black men and black babies enough to stand on decency, stand on transparency, and say, listen, I'm pro-black. I love the black community. This is the issue, right? But she wasn't done.
It has always been more access to regulated, accountable care because we deserve that. And I also want to address that it took me some time to think about doing this video, because as a black woman, it's just been really, really tough for us as black women. And as someone who states that they advocate for the black community, he, she, and they create programs for the black community, is the founder of the largest mental health and education community for black women in the country. I totally understand where we're at when I'm holding my programs and things of that nature. But I do want you to know that I always state that my black love is also accountability. And being black does not mean that when I'm dealing with other black people, I'm pro-blackness no matter what you do. That's just never going to be the case. So I don't want you to, I don't want to hear anything about like, oh, this is an attack on a black woman. It's not solely, it was the aspect of supporting black people was never about supporting just black people no matter what they do. It's supporting black people in love and also having accountability. And these messages are wrong, and they have been wrong, and they have consistently been wrong. And and as someone who has the size of a platform that I have, I think it's important for me to share psychoeducation and information, because I understand the significance of it. And I understand the significance of it because I'm actually working in this field. This is a really harmful message. And I do understand that there's this aspect of like things are entertainment, but these things are harming us. And I know they harm us because I'm actually working in the field. I am a doctor who creates content, but I do want to state that when I say the titles in the beginning of my video, I'm actively doing that work. I'm actively conducting research on Black identity development and mental health and well-being of the Black community. I am actively practicing as a licensed clinical psychologist and see patients weekly and have been seeing patients for over a decade. I am actively a professor and working with youth. I am actively a health educator when it comes to training clinicians in cultural humility so that they can serve us better. And I think one of the reasons why a lot of individuals will say it's not that deep or state that it's just entertainment is because, one, you think mental health in psychology is just folk wisdom, and it's not, it's a science. And two, you guys are very insulated from the field that you claim to be discussing because you don't work in that field and you haven't in quite some time. But as someone who walks into the offices and sees the clients and goes to the talks and does the community programs, we are struggling. And these little entertainment only pieces that are spreading misinformation, you're doing more harm for the Black community than you know. And the reason why you don't know is because you're so insulated from the Black community. You just sit in front of these mics and you make all these money and you do all these Patreons and you wear these crazy hats and you do all that. But I would actually say I don't see these kind of places as pro-Black. I don't.
See, I'm glad she said that. She said she's pro-Black, but she's not pro-Black no matter what you do. She gonna hold your ass accountable. She gonna call you out. And what Dr. Cheyenne Bryant is doing is dangerous. And you have Black professionals. That's why I created Urban Nerds. I created Urban Nerds to bring Black intelligence back to our community. I created Urban Nerds to bring Black professionals back into the faces of young Black children. And not people like Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, that all she cares about is filling up her purse, right? Her pocketbook. She don't care about the actual people that she claims to be helping because she's not even certified. She's not even. And that's why the sister said, I know I'm going to get flack for this, for calling out the sisterhood. And this is what I'm saying. A lot of y'all out there got to take a strong look at yourself in the mirror. Are you pro-Black woman, pro-Black man, or are you pro-Black people? Which one it is? And you out here cosplaying as a pro-Black person, as B1. You're not. You are for your gender. And that's it. And this sister drew a line in the sand and said, I can't stand by and watch this happen no more. I got to come out and say it. I don't care if I get flack from the sisterhood. Right? And like I said, I posted a video yesterday on my channel where I said, snitch, snitch, snitch. Right? Don't, you see a lot of these young guys out here wilding out, destroying communities, pow, pow, and everything. Tell on them. Man, I'm getting all kinds of pushback from Black men. right? Certain black men coming and saying all kinds of wild things because I care about black people enough to tell them the truth. So what they want to do, they want to crucify me, right? Because I love you enough to tell you, listen, we can't keep blaming everything on the W. Some things we got to take responsibility for. So I'm very interested to see how many black women will come out here and defend Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, even though you got a black professional woman that stood on business, that loved you enough to come out here and say, hey, I'm doing this work for real. She's not telling you the truth. These are lies. And then she explained why they're lies. I guarantee you on my life, you still gonna have women come out here and defend that because they don't care nothing about black women. They only care about the agenda that they want to push. And that's the problem. This is the problem. The same way I got pushed back for the video I put up yesterday, right? By all these black men. Y'all, oh man, they can't stand me because I told the black community to tell on black people that's out here unaliving our people. That's going into barbecues and pow and 16 people looking for one person. Tell on their ass. Don't keep it a secret, right? So we talking about cleaning up our communities and doing better. And we got to get rid of bad bees and real jiggers. And people like Cheyenne Bryant got to go. So if y'all made it this far in the video, hit that like button, subscribe to Street Media TV, leave your comments in the comment section. Remember, I love y'all. Till the next time, peace.